it just says it all because I feel like you just got pantsed. There's obviously a talent disparity between the teams and how they're built, and spent a lot of time talking about that today because I think that's, obviously the first thing on the list. It's real, and it's exposed when you face a team like Miami that's built the way that they're built. But there's also instances in that game yesterday where I just sort of felt they pantsed you. You know what I mean? Like they got you. It'd be one thing if Jalen Waddle was being covered and he just beat his guy man on man and just broke away because he's faster than J.C. Jackson or Miles Bryant or whatever. And you'd say, okay, well, that's just talent. But, he's left no one's within 20 yards. You got two guys biting on a fake and going the other way, and he's just left all alone on 4th and 1 to seal the game. And it's like that one's just sort of, that sticks out to me. I felt that the Tyreek Hill touchdown catch was another play like that. I felt the Mac Jones interception was another play like that, where it's just, they just pick you apart. And so I thought that was one of those plays that says it all about where you are and where this team is, et cetera. That's my opening take. What's yours?
Murray, you want to go?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the talent disparity. I think that's the biggest takeaway. And it's not just about the quarterback, who's clearly not good enough. Look at the Patriots defense. And I know they don't have Judon, they don't have Christian Gonzalez, but I think even with those guys, had they been healthy and played, like you play a team like Miami, they kind of look at your defense and laugh at you. They went, 3 for 3 on 4th down? They're confident going for it on 4th down. Mazz, you said, I like the term you used in the email chain this morning, that Mike McDaniel is almost cocky with some of the play calling that he does against the Patriots in these 2 games this season. I thought that was apparent yesterday. Even these 3rd and longs, like, we're going to get it, and then we're going to laugh at you.
100%, Jim. I wanted to add that to my list of how they just sort of pick you apart. 3rd and long, no problem. 3rd and 14, we'll throw a 10-yard out and then pick up the 4, no problem.
And they're tripping over their own hogs, like dumb procedural penalties. Now all of a sudden it's like 3rd and 15, 3rd and 18. Big whoop. We're going to pick it up and we're going to get it right over the middle, even if a guy's double covered. We know he's good enough. Someone like Jalen Waddle, he's going to get tall and he's going to make this catch and it's going to be 1st down. What are you going to do about it? Nothing, because you're not good enough.
Miami had 1st and goal at the 6. Pass. Pass interference was called on J.C. Jackson.
That was dubious. That was a terrible call.
But then they put the ball at the 1. Pass. So 5 plays from the 6, all passes. Every single one. How many times do you see that? So again, you think 1st and goal at the 1, you just jam it in there. That's it. It's over. No problem. Nope. Pass. 5 in a row. And so what you were saying about the plays, I've heard a lot of discussion in the last 18 hours, 24 hours about the talent disparity. We knew that. That was a known thing going in. It's true often now. It is true on Sundays. They have a talent disparity. They had one last week. Even though Buffalo was banged up, they won the game. They hung in there.
Goes to show you again, though, last week was about Buffalo more than it was the Patriots.
I'll tell you what bugged me more than anything about this game. I think I put it 2nd in my email, but it was really 1st. I heard Zoe mention something about it on middays, too, the defensive game plan. What are you doing? You played them in Foxborough. They have the talent. So you had 3 guys back. Nope, we're going to make you throw underneath all day and go down the field. You only gave up 24 points. So as much as and I know Greg Bedard came in here that week and he said, well, look, there wasn't a pressure defense. They kind of set back. That was about managing the defeat. Look, when you're going against a team with the kind of speed and talent Miami does, what are you going to do? Try to run up and down the field with them? That would be stupid. So what did they do yesterday? They let Miami run right by them.
So
it blew me away.
And so I agree. It yesterday went beyond just the talent disparity. You got outclassed.
Oh my gosh, it was unbelievable.
I would say out-schemed, which is part of it, but just sort of outclassed. You got to have it play, and your guys are biting up, and those guys just run. It never even became a foot race because your guys weren't in phase. They weren't even with the play.
They weren't engaged.
They weren't engaged with the play. And so that just sort of, I don't know, drives home the whole thing. It's beyond talent disparity. I guess what I'm driving at is don't just stop at Belichick, the GM, and the talent disparity. You are behind the league when it comes to scheme, mentality, this sort of thing. And behind the league. Behind your division. Behind the Miami Dolphins. Behind Mike McDaniel. why would you want to keep Bill Belichick? Bill Belichick's a better coach than Mike McDaniel on any given Sunday. I think. I mean, I'll give it to you. He's a better coach than Mike McDaniel on any given Sunday. But I don't like Bill's scheme or mentality or anything like that. I'd much rather have McDaniel's scheme and mentality. And maybe McDaniel can't pick up everything during the week or come up with quite the same game plan that Bill could, but he runs a modern offense, and he absolutely owns Belichick in these head-to-head matchups. So, like, I take the lesser coach with a modern approach. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, I know exactly what you mean.
So, like, I just think that's sort of laid bare there, too, as well. So, how high up on the list yesterday is Mac Jones? For you, Murray. We'll start there.
Yeah, I mean, pretty damn high. I thought he was mostly terrible in this game, and it was the egregious interception to Jalen Ramsey, and then the other one where he's got Devontae Parker screaming across there in the red zone, wide open, and he's just too late with it. And he's staring down Ramondre Stevenson and takes a sack. I thought he's what you get out of him. He's just meh. He's not good enough. And so the Patriots offensive line, I think, was actually in better shape than the Dolphins was yesterday. And I know Miami has more talent at wide receiver in the offensive weapons, but Dolphins, once again, had no running game. Offensive line was in shambles. They ended up having, 3 injuries on the offensive line yesterday? And Tua made do. Did Mac? No. He was just what you get out of him in these type of games, which just isn't good enough. I think you can coin flip between him and the defense. Who cost you that game? But he was a big part of it. Make no doubt about that.
I mean, I'm sort of with Murray. I don't know if he's number one on the list because, again, but if we're talking about overall talent disparity, your talent at quarterback is part of the problem. So, like, in other words, he made some bad decisions, a lot of them in this game. And that, to me, was a big part of it because he can play and keep you in the game when he makes good decisions. But even if he made good decisions, are you going to beat what they have on the other side of the ball? You know what I mean? Like the shortage of talent was a factor in that game. Absolutely. And the decision-making. So do I put Jones first? No. Is he in the top 2 or 3? Yeah.
I just think that interception was pathetic.
It was pathetic.
On so many levels, it was sad. It was sad to me because the Patriots tried to run a little Dolphins thing.
Oh, right. Yeah, Douglas was in motion.
Did you see the motion?
Yeah.
Go pay attention to the motion that they ran right before that play. And I think it was 1st and 10. It was, I don't know where exactly it was, but it was on the plus side of the field. So it was sort of like.
Oh, they were down by the 25-yard line.
28, I think it was.
So it was shot territory, right?
Yep. Yeah,
okay, 1st and 10. And they ran this fancy little motion. It was Douglas. He sort of ran in, ran out, sprinted to the sidelines, I think, at the end. But it was something sort of reminiscent of what you're seeing, certainly in the McDaniel offense and more across the league. And it's like, okay, here we are. We're answering. The Dolphins had gone up 14-7. The Pats are answering with a drive. We're in the high red zone, 1st and 10. We're going to try and get them on, a modern NFL play. So Douglas runs in motion, runs back out, and Jalen Ramsey absolutely baits Mac Jones into throwing into the flat there. It was Ramsey was just baiting him.
Drooling?
I mean, absolutely knew what was coming. And so you got outsmarted on the play. Mac Jones doesn't have the arm to put it there, even if you're not getting outsmarted. And it's like you just add the whole thing up like they tried. They tried to run a modern NFL play. And the other side was really ready for it. And so you got pantsed mentally, physically, like the whole thing. I found it sad. Like you're a million miles away from running that kind of offense and that kind of play and going anywhere close to matching Miami tit for tat on that kind of stuff. And you tried.
It felt like we can do it too.
Exactly.
No, you can't.
No,
Just
you can't.
Off-brand nonsense is what that was.
I mean, that's a stupid play call. I think I put this in the email. That's a stupid play call when you're trying to run it with your personnel. What are you trying to run that play for? So, like, again, because Mac Jones said after the game, well, the play is designed for the defensive back to make a decision. Well, he made the right one.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, and Jones was late with the ball. It was in a bad spot on top of it, like all of it, and, it didn't have anything on it. So, like, why are you calling that in the first place?
It's just you're trying to be Miami. You're not even close to it physically or mentally or in your DNA or your coaching. Bill O'Brien is adopting these offensive things. They're not even his concepts necessarily. And so you're just trying to be that thing and you're not that thing. I mean, Miami does all that stuff like it's, sprint motion this way, and then it's a little slant on the backside that they've created that space because of where they're running this guy, and it all works and it fits, and you try it. It's like, well, you're not even supposed to do that. Like, that motion doesn't lead to that thing, especially with your quarterback. He's not going to put it in that window down there.
Nope.
You run your motion this way to run a little slant that way. That's your thing. Like, Miami knows that they don't, every now and then Tua gets put in a spot where his arm, his lack of arm strength shows up.
For sure.
But there's still a bunch of plays that's designed where it's just, okay, the guy sprints out quick that way. It's a little pop that way. And it's wide open in the zone because they've created that little opening. And they do it. It's in their DNA, and that's what they are. It's like, you try. It's like, no, not you. That's not not how that's supposed to happen. And Miami was just so ready for it. It's just sad. That play to me felt sad. And it was just completely demoralizing for you because you were in it. Miami wanted to give it to you.
Oh, they really did.
Interception in the first quarter for a short field. Insane fumble on the opening drive of the third quarter to give you a short field. So they wanted to do that thing where you just sort of sit back and let them give you the game. But you can't, you're just not there. You're not capable. Mentally or physically or program-wise or DNA-wise or any-wise. And it just exposed in that kind of game. Because that was kind of a winnable game. I mean, it just was the way Miami gave you the ball in the first and third quarters. But it's just not winnable to you.
Well, it goes to show, I think Bill is still relying on those kind of things happening, and they will happen, but it's just not enough anymore because they don't have enough.